Well, hello there, how is everyone? I hope you're well, you amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It's Friday. Didn't even know what day it was, unlike me, innit? But I think I've got it right every single day this week so far. I think so. Anyway, let's get straight into the meat and potatoes. As what I'm going to do, I'm going to read you an email first, and then we're going to look at some stuff, because I've seen videos, right, that come out. I think it was Valhalla who did the last one. They're still talking about this round that was supposedly used to kill Charlie Kirk, where we can't really consolidate the injury, and that's causing some issues. And first of all, what I want to say is I do not trust the narrative that's being pushed. Don't trust it. But what we do have to do is acknowledge when there's things that can make certain things make sense, because it's disingenuous if we just keep spouting the same shit saying that can't be the case because that's impossible. So let's just read this quickly, right? I'm not going to show it on the screen because it's got the guy's name, and I don't want to give his name. I'm just going to say thank you very much, J.E. You'll know who you are. Says, I have been watching your channel since Charlie Kirk assassination. Soon as I watched that first video, I hit that subscribe button and watch daily. Legend. If you ain't done it, you do it and all. Smash subscribe, hit like, all that jazz. And it says, right, thank you for providing us with opinions on what's going on in this crazy world. The Charlie Kirk assassination still haunts me. The biggest discrepancy is a use of the 3006 or 3006, whatever you say. I made sense of them finding a 30-06 rifle but not seeing 30-06 damage on Charlie. Let me know what you think. So we go. I'm 51 and hand load tons of rounds. Not sure what makes you an expert, but I have surpassed 50,000 rounds loaded with a single stage press in pistol and rifle rounds. So I got that going for me. I don't reload 30-06. Want to make that part clear, but for this to make sense, I don't have to. Ever since the official narrative was released of Charlie getting shot with this round, myself along with the rest of the world said Charlie was not shot with this round. It's just not possible. That has been the absolute biggest discrepancy. We all know what this round does. It absolutely destroys everything and anything, but they still keep pushing that narrative. Today I was watching Valhalla VFT video, and he was going through different loads of this round and how none of them fit what we saw. He was talking grain weight, feet per second, and energy foot-pounds, something I totally understand, and something clicked and took me back to my childhood in the early 1980s. Same as me, I was born 1980. My dad would hunt deer with my grandpa's 30-06. One year we didn't get his ammo early and ran down 10 minutes before the store was closing, and of course they only had one thing in stock. Remington Express 30-06 accelerators. No, not so much a deer hunting round, but a varmint round. He was mad as all get out. And I can still hear him saying, I hope the deer is within 25 yards of me or we ain't getting nothing. I, of course, said, why? His reply, because they suck. So today I started doing some research. The round was developed in 1977 and it uses a 55 grain 223 bullet wrapped in a 30 cal sabot. So it can be fired from a 30-06 rifle. But ballistically, you are getting a 223 or an AR-15 result. The info on the ground said it was horrible and was known to tumble after 50-ish yards of flight time. So this could definitely explain Charlie's entry wound. It was a keyhole. Instead of spiraling, the bullet tumbles end over end. And if it didn't do this on a paper target, you would see a 223 22 caliber size hole. If it tumbles, depending on how the bullet hits the paper, you will actually see a hole that looks identical to the full size of the bullet because it's tumbling. And a 223 makes a lot more sense because once it enters the body, it's going to tumble and fragment. And of course, this would explain how they found a 30-06, but we don't see 30-06 damage. I found a box of these rounds online, and its advertised velocity is 4080 frames per second. Do the math. blah, blah, and you're looking at 2033 on gun mean velocity. That's a lot, but we are no longer talking 30 caliber bullets here. The gun used doesn't matter. The round that hit Charlie does. We are talking 223 now. He simply used a 30-06 gun to fire the round. These rounds are known to tumble and fragment after impact. I can see a 223 hitting the C2 and doing a nosedive following the spine to the T1, path of least resistance. I have shot 55 grain 223s, 5.56 many times into ballistic gel, and it never exits the same way twice. Okay, it does, but you get my point. It goes out the bottom, left side, right side, up, and everything in between. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just trying to make the 30-06 round fit into the equation, and I think this is the perfect fit. Maybe I'm 100% wrong on this one. It's just the only plausible explanation of how an assassin uses a 30-06 to murder someone from 140 to 150 yards away and not have 30-06 effects, which we know we have a problem there. We have a problem. So let's just go over to here. So this is what we're talking about, right? This is the Remington Express ammunition 30-06 Springfield Accelerator 55 grain pointed soft point box of 20. So what these are basically, in layman's terms, this enables a smaller caliber bullet to be held in a traditional 30-06 casing or cabot and fired out of a gun that fires that style weapon. So you're basically firing a smaller caliber bullet out of a larger caliber gun. Does that make sense? And this is and it's interesting because in the comments on here it says, one more piece of information, the 30-06 was used by our military snipers until 1972. It's been around a long time, and I hope it will be around a lot longer. And this is just telling you a bit about it. So the muzzle velocity, 40-80, muzzle energy, 20-33 foot-pounds, 55 grain soft point. And then if we go over to here, this tells you a bit more about it. The assassin's or an assassin's bullet. The infamous Remington Accelerator cartridge was introduced in 1977 in 3 different high-powered rifle cartridges, the 30-06, .308 and .30-06. Remington seated a .22 caliber bullet inside a .30 caliber sabot, then seated the sabot in the mouth of the cartridge case. It was a great concept that didn't work particularly well. The intent was to give a hunter a high-speed varmint gun without having to go to the expense of buying a dedicated varmint rifle. Essentially, a .30 caliber rifle that fired a .22 bullet up to 4,000 feet per second. In other words, a .308 accelerator could boast ballistics comparable to a .22, .250 round. How it was envisioned to work was as simple as the sea is salt. When fired, the sabot holding the .22 caliber bullet zipped down the barrel and dropped to the ground immediately after exiting the muzzle, hence why they found the cabot sitting there. It was sitting there, they found it. Due to the sabot having engraved itself into the rifling, the .22 caliber projectile rotated downrange. In reality, the .22 caliber bullet wasn't stabilised and began to tumble after 50 or so yards. Some say the accelerator was nothing less than an abysmal failure, while others claim to have had no problem knocking off jackrabbits on a regular basis. Now, we can read that until the sun goes down, but what we've also got to remember is that Charlie Kirk was hit in the neck, and we always said from the beginning, what if this was never meant to be a neck shot? Who the fuck's going to aim for the neck? What if this was indeed an aimed headshot with this style round, and because of that tumbling effect and starting to lose velocity, it actually dipped and hit Charlie Kirk in the neck? Very unlucky in either way, because if it had hit him in the head, that'd have killed him anyway. But lo and behold, as Charlie was leaning, it just so happened to line up. In fact, Charlie Kirk, God weren't on Charlie Kirk's side that day. He absolutely weren't. He absolutely was not. But there we go. Let me know what you think. I'm not a professional, but this does. I've looked at it. I've read it. I will put these articles in the description of this video so you can go and look yourself. But I've tried to break it down as quick as possible. Love you all. Enjoy your Friday. Keep your eyes peeled for a video later on today. And I will catch you all tomorrow. Or later. Don't know. Love you all. Mwah.